What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So, for the first time ever, I'll show you some footage here. Take a look at what has happened here. The Republicans and the Democrats voting to oust Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy in a historic vote. Take a look at what just happened here.
And it sounds like they're speaking about this now.
Let's listen to this. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Allie, just wow.
Yeah, I had an audible wow there too, Nicole, because again, that's us witnessing history together there. It's really, really stunning. I think as I'm thinking about what this means here, yes, we'll look to see who the person is that's installed as a speaker pro tem, because that's going to be likely coming either from the list that McCarthy has provided or through some other mechanism. And then we'll see, Congressman Burchett, one of the Republicans who voted to oust McCarthy, previously told our team in the halls that he imagines that what this is they go back down into the bowels of the Capitol and once again they have a family meeting. And I don't think that McCarthy is going to be able to change any of these minds as we hear them calling the House to order. I think it's, we'll be listening and seeing where they go next with this. But I can tell you from our team in the chamber, McCarthy has a smile on his face. He was waiting for them to gavel. And I think in the next few minutes, we'll start seeing members come down these stairs and we can start getting some actual reaction to the fact that many of these members, unwillingly on the Republican side, were a part of making history today as 8 Republicans voted with all Democrats who stood in unity to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, so for the first time ever, a Speaker of the House has been ousted, impeached, whatever you want to call it, ever. And this happened because only 8 Republicans basically said, we don't want him there anymore. So, and with all the Democrats, obviously the other party would go along because, they're the other party. This shows you the dissension among the Republicans. Remember, it took 15 votes for the Republicans to even elect a leader among their own party. These 8 Republicans who voted to oust their own leader that they picked, and I guess mostly because the last straw was that he called for a vote to prevent a government shutdown. These 8 Republicans were Republican Matt Gaetz from Florida led the motion, along with Representative Andy Biggs from Arizona, who argued McCarthy was no longer an effective leader, and passage of the continuing resolution, which is only for 45 days, made him complicit on the failures of the national debt and immigration policy. Republican Ken Buck from Colorado, who said, I supported Kevin McCarthy in January because I thought he was the best person positioned to keep our promises. It's clear that we need a principled speaker who can keep his word, not just to members of Congress, but to the American people. Republican Tim Burchett from Tennessee, he says that McCarthy belittled me and my belief system, and that pretty much sealed it with me right there. I thought that showed the character of a man. It's a tough decision, but I'm poised to vote for the motion to vacate because we are $33 trillion in debt. Republicans are seeking massive cuts to the budget. Representative Eli Crane from Arizona, who says each time the majority has a chance to fight for bold, lasting change for the American people, leadership folded and passed measures with more Democrat support than Republican. Matt Gaetz from Florida, who says, Washington must change. We must put the House of Representatives on a better course. McCarthy has failed to take a stand where it matters. So if he won't, I will. He says, quote, the fight is not over. We must now elect a new speaker. Representative Bob Good from Virginia says, the American people need a speaker who will fight to keep the promises Republicans made to get the majority, not someone who cuts fiscally irresponsible deals that get more Democrat votes than Republican votes, he said in a statement. But remember, to pass anything, you need to get the Senate to pass it as well and the president to sign it. Keep that in mind. Republican Nancy Mace from South Carolina says McCarthy, for unable to keep his word, failed to make good on promises to fund the government without extensions. Today I voted to vacate to remove the speaker. This isn't about left versus right. This is about ideology. This is about trust and keeping your word. This is about making Congress do its job. Matt Rosendale from Montana says, our country is facing $33 trillion in debt. Our border's facing an unprecedented invasion. And instead of being energy dominant, we are now facing energy reliant. He said in a statement, the House of Representatives and the American people deserve a leader who can challenge the status quo and put an end to this ruin. So it's ironic, though, that just these 8 Republicans actually sided with the Democrats and voted with the Democrats to actually oust their own Republican speaker. It's strangely ironic that they voted with the Democrats to vote out their own Speaker of the House. Yeah, so you can let me know your thoughts here on this. Right before the vote, Republican Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio, who could possibly become the next speaker, said this. Let me know your thoughts on this.
Gentleman from Ohio is recognized for 3 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. On January 3rd, we said the 118th Congress is about 3 things. Pass the bills that need passed, do the oversight work that needs to be done, and stop the inevitable omnibus that comes from the United States Senate right before the holidays. Kevin McCarthy has been rock solid on all 3. We have passed the bills we told the American people we would pass. 87,000 IRS agents, that bill passed. Parents' Bill of Rights, that bill passed. Energy legislation passed. Border security, immigration enforcement legislation, the strongest bill ever to pass the Congress, passed earlier this year. We have done what we told them we were going to do. We can't help it the Senate won't take up those good common sense bills. They'll have to answer to the American people come Election Day. Oversight. We have done the oversight that we're supposed to do. Because of our oversight, we know that parents were targeted by the Department of Justice. Because of our oversight, we know that 51 former intel officials misled the country weeks before the most important election we have. And because of our oversight, the Disinformation Governance Board at the Department of Homeland Security is gone. Because of our oversight, the memo attacking pro-life Catholics has been rescinded. Because of our oversight, unannounced visits to Americans' home by the Internal Revenue Service has stopped. That happened under Speaker McCarthy. And on the third one, on this side of it, we know there's a big old ugly bill coming at the end of the year, all kinds of spending, all kinds of garbage in it. We're still in that fight. Frankly, to Matt's point, we don't know how that one's going to shake out. But we do know this. We do know this. On Saturday, we didn't take the Senate's bill. They tried to send over and shove it down our throats on Saturday. We didn't take that bill. And it was a tough position he was in. There were 5 options on the table last week. Option 1 was to send a long-term CR over there that would have leveraged the 1% cut, something a bunch of us voted for, both parties. Couldn't get the votes for that one. Second option was to focus on the one issue the country now is completely focused on, the border issue. We couldn't get the votes for that one either. But when the Senate tried to send us that bill, he said no to it. I think the Speaker has kept his word. I know my colleagues and friends are saying different. I think he has kept his word on those 3 things that we talked about on January 3rd, and frankly, that entire week. He has kept his word. I think we should keep him as Speaker. I yield back.
And see, if you listen to what Jim Jordan says there, this is what, and you listen to the bills that the Republicans passed in the House and the Senate, you'd have to go look back at what happened to each bill. If the Republicans pass hardline Republican bills, but the Senate ignores them because, again, first of all, you need 60 votes in the Senate, which is Republican and Democrat bills, but also votes, but also the Democrat it's controlled by the Democrats. So Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has the option to even just not even put it on the floor. Okay. Just like the Republicans have in the House, they have the option to not even vote on it because it's Republican controlled. This is where you have to remember, and this is where you have the checks and balance in Congress. Everything has to be compromise, okay? Compromise. And or the other option is you can go the whole burn the place down, which is honestly, it might be coming. I'm not gonna BS you guys. We could see a potential Republican burn the place down where we could see a very long government shutdown here. I know we have a 45-day continuing resolution here to fund the government, but there is a possibility here that Republicans, we get to this 45 days, which will come up, we'll get to that point like nothing. If these Republicans, they want these real huge government cuts because of the debt and what some of the Republican thinking are, if you just look at the realistic solution here, we could see a massive Republican movement towards we need to cut this government debt. It's getting too much. It's overburdening the country. We want real big cuts. Democrats aren't going to go for it. And if they stick to their guns and they say we're not going to fund the government unless you give us these real deep cuts to a lot of social programs all across the board, just cuts everywhere, and Democrats are going to say no, we're not going to go for that. We could see a very long government shutdown, okay? And that's kind of the burn the place down kind of philosophy, okay? We could see a very long government shutdown because neither side will agree, and Republicans could stick to their guns, no matter who the speaker is, okay? And this is this is why some of the Republicans said we're going to oust Kevin McCarthy for even bringing up a continuing resolution, because we're mad that he even did that, because no compromise. So some of these Republicans are saying that no compromise at all. We want cuts, 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 cuts. We're concerned about the budget. We're concerned about the border. We're concerned about some of these things. And we don't want to compromise. We want these things, and we're not going to compromise until we get them. And Democrats are going to say these are too extreme. And what will happen, or what could happen, is this burn it down type of philosophy, is that we could see a massive government shutdown for a long time, and basically saying, listen, if you don't give us these demands, huge government shutdown. Remember, it's over, like, I think it's like 2.2 million government employees will lose their jobs for a long time. Military members won't get pay for the time being. Members could be a long time here. And remember, we could see huge amount of millions of Americans lose benefits to who knows what. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people that think if we don't cut government debt, 34 trillion, 40 trillion, 50 trillion, 60 trillion, $100 trillion in debt is not that far off in the future. I mean, we're going to be paying government interest, will be our largest expense. We're going to be to the point we're going to be paying more money in interest than we will be to the defense of our country. And this is where you kind of look at different philosophies and say, yeah, what do we do? So I'll keep you up to date here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. Thanks for liking and sharing these videos here as well. Click here to see these nationwide emergency alerts going out here within 24 hours. Or you can click here to see Russia's imminent World War III escalation. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.